Okay, welcome into our Playing Standards Like a Pro lesson. In this lesson, we're looking at the classic jazz standard, The Days of Wine and Roses. So, the first step, and I always try to do this when I'm going to really sit down to learn a tune. You know, there's plenty of tunes that I play that I get away with kind of half knowing. But the tunes that I really know well and can do a lot of the improvisation things that I want to do, and the arranging and harmony things that I want to do with that tune, are tunes that I have memorized. So this first step is really geared towards getting familiar with the tune, getting familiar with the melody, the contour of the melody, and the changes and the left hand, and most importantly, trying to commit this tune to memory. So having the tune memorized is a really big step before you get too far down the road of embellishing the melody and changing the harmony and stuff like that. Trying to be true to the original melody and harmony and commit it to memory. So in this first step, what we're going to really do is just play, the right hand is going to play the melody, and the left hand is going to play the shell voicing. So for the most part, the shell voicing is, the root. Let's say we're in the key of F here, F major. So if we're playing an F major 7 chord, the root, and then some combination of the rest of the chord tones. So the chord tones meaning the 3rd, the 5th, and the 7th, right? So sometimes, depending on range, we can play the root, 3rd, and 7th. Sometimes we may choose to play the root, the 5th, and the 7th. And we're going to have to try to find another way to get that 3rd into our voicing. So if the melody is carrying the 3rd, that's great. If the melody is not carrying the 3rd, so for example, if we have the root up in the melody, we may want to harmonize that with the 3rd, and we'll get a chord that looks something like this. Okay. But basically, my left hand is still doing the same thing, playing root, 5, 7, root, 3, 7. Sometimes, if you can stretch, I know not all students can stretch a 10th, but I can. So playing a 10th and maybe even putting a 5th in there, or if I can really stretch and get that 7th in there, I might try to do that. A 10th is something that I was not always able to play. It came from a lot of stretching, practicing, and trying to get certain keys. I can get a 10th, other keys I can't. B flat, I have a hard time because I'm not quite getting that D. But the key of F, I can stretch. So, practice experimenting if your hand is large enough to try to get some of those 10ths, because they can add another effect to your left hand accompaniment. So, we're going to go through and kind of out of time, not in time yet, just kind of work through this melody and this harmony. So I'm going to play through the chart that I have written for you here. So, grab the sheet music that corresponds to this lesson and check out the first 2 pages, which you'll notice the text says that this is the sketch of the tune. So what we have here, let's just take 4 measures at a time, okay? So measure 1 has the F major 7 chord. And so we're voicing it like this, right? So I have my root, 5th, 7th, and 3rd. There's my F major chord. Now my left hand is just playing root 3 and 7 for E flat. And again, root 3 and 7 for D7. So putting that all together, it sounds like this. Going on. Now here's a great example of what I was talking about a moment ago. I don't really want to put my 3rd here. It sounds a little heavy, a little low. I'd love to play this, but I'm trying to avoid any 10ths in my left hand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play root and 7. The right hand melody is an A natural. So I'm going to grab that B flat, which is my 3rd, with my thumb. Okay? And really what I have there is my root, 7, and 3. There's my shell voicing if I could stretch that. Okay, so here's measure 5, the G minor. And if I harmonize with that B flat. Okay, so what's going on here in measure 7 and 8 is I have a B flat minor major 7 chord, meaning a B flat minor chord with the major 7 as opposed to the minor 7. Okay?
Thanks for taking a look at this video. If you'd like to be notified the next time I release free content on YouTube, you can click on the subscribe button on this page. It's absolutely free to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now, if you'd like to study with me for free for 30 days, click on the Piano Success Playbook in the bottom left-hand side, and you'll get 30 days of lessons absolutely free of charge. I look forward to working with you in the next lesson.